Hello friends, this is Rupesh. I'm watching CPU video series on C++, and this video will look into this friend function and friend classes in C++. So there is a keyword called friend, and that is used to make some function or class as friend of your class. Okay, so we'll go through all these points. So first let's quickly create a class. So let's assume we have some class base here. So first let's take the example of a function. Later we'll go for class. So let's create some function. Let's make it void set, and then you will have this base reference object integer x. Okay, and inside this function what you're going to do is object.x is equal to x. Okay, so ultimately you are accessing this .x, which is a private data member outside the class. So this is what friend function allows. Okay, I mean, if you have made some function as friend inside your class, then that particular function is allowed to access your private data. Okay, because you said that that particular function is my friend, so compiler will allow to access your private data inside this function. Before, if you have watched my previous videos, I was giving set functions like this, void set here inside this, and here we was getting integer a, and we were doing something like this, correct? So this is obvious case, like if this function belong to your class, then obviously then this function can change or access x. But what if some function doesn't belong to your class and still you want that function to be able to access your private stuff? Then you will use friend function, and this is how you tell that some function is my friend. So you got this function and this is your class. Now you have to tell that this function is my friend. So this is the way of saying that. First you have to write friend, then this syntax. Okay, so base ref obj is optional. If you want to write, then write, otherwise it's okay. You just need to define the types only all the time here. Okay, this is the function. You said this function is my friend. Let's create some object and let's assign some value inside that. Let's make it 10. Call this function and pass this object here and pass some another value. Let's make it 20. So what will happen when initially your object was created, this 10 will go here and this x will get initialized with 10. So object having this x and that is having 10 value. Now what you are doing is you're changing this obj and want to assign 20 inside that, and using this function. This is not a great example, but it will show you the use of this friend function. Okay, so you're calling this set function, which is this function, and inside this function you can access this .x because this is a friend. So let's compile this. It should compile. Oh, what happened? Oh yeah, actually you have created some function, your friend, but that function signature is not matching. How can I miss that? Integer. Now you compile. See, it has compiled successfully. Let's create another function which will get this value for you. So get, and that will return that obj return obj.x. This is what you want. So let's make them in one line, so it will take little less space. And yes, you are right. If you are accessing this x here, then you have to make this function also a friend function. So friend, okay, this time I'm not missing, right? Okay, now let's do this. Cout get obj and compile. See, you got 20 now. Okay, so you set 10. Let's call this cout after 10 also. So if you will run this, you will get 10 and 20 both. Okay, So that is correct. And if you are confused why this .x cannot be accessed outside this class, I'll just show you the example here. Let's try to access that. Okay, you're thinking maybe you can access that obj.x, but you cannot access that. If you'll compile this, you'll get the error saying that base x is private within this context. It is saying that this is a private thing, you cannot access this outside this class. So sorry. And not only this, I mean this private, it can access protected also, and public is already accessible, so there is no question about this public, but it can access protected also. So if this is protected, then also there is no problem. So protected, and compile this. It's this one which is making problem for you. See, it was telling that this is protected and you cannot access that outside. Okay, so if you have removed this, compile it, see, compiled. So this is how you make some function as your friend. And notice one thing, this relation is like this. There is one class, and that class makes some function. This is your function and this is your class. So this function will be declared as friend inside class, and you are supposed to declare that. Okay, no one can come and tell that okay, I am your friend. No, you always says that is my friend and this is my friend. So there is this class, you are the owner of this class, you will say that this particular guy is my friend. So this is how you will do that. Okay, now another thing, there is another class. Yes, one class also can become a friend class. Okay, so instead of making some function, now you want to make some class as your friend. But notice one thing, this particular thing is always class. Okay, this class is telling that this guy is my friend, this class is my friend, but this is not function. Okay, it cannot be like this. One function is there and this function is telling that this class is my friend or this function is my friend. No, this is not there. Okay, so always class is there and class tells this function is my friend and this class is my friend. Okay, so till now we saw how to create a function as your friend. Now let's look at the class example. So let me just simply remove all these things and let's quickly get rid of this and maybe this, and let's create some class here. Class get set. This will have these functionalities, so it will get some values for you. Okay, so the same functions what we saw here, getters and setters, will implement inside this class, and we'll just simply make this class as your friend. So friend class get and set. So this is how it will look like, and if it is set, it will have base ref obj.integerx, and it is going to return obj.x, and here we'll set obj.x is equal to x. So this functionality is pretty much the same what we saw in the function case, but this time you are making this whole class as your friend. So every member function can access these private and protected. So let's make this private for now. Now here is one thing, in C++ the compilation goes like this. Your compiler will come here and it will check okay, everything is fine. It will come here, it will come here, and it will check what base. I have not encountered base yet. I don't know what base is, so it will show you the error here. Let's check that. See, error, base has not been declared yet. Okay, so if you will keep this base from here to here, and if you will compile this now, it will work. You are just simply saying that this is going to be your friend, and if this friend doesn't exist at all, let's just remove all these things and just compile. Then also doesn't matter, because tomorrow morning you can just wake up and say that hey, John is my friend. Who cares John exists or not? But in this case, I mean in this get and set case, the error was because you are saying that my object will look like base. Okay, because this was like this right here, and you're saying that my object will look like base. So compiler don't know where is the base, but in this case you're saying that someone is my friend. Compiler don't bother. If that friend is accessing your private stuff, then compiler will check, okay, it is allowed to access, it is allowed for that particular class or function to access your private data parts or not. So I think that's clear now. So let me keep it here. So I think it makes sense. So before you saw friend function, now you're going to see friend class. So this whole class has become friend of this class. So let's do some experiments here. So as you have this get and set, let's create the object of that. Get and set. So cout gs.get, and you will send the object, and after that you will set the same object with different value, and let's call the gs.get object. This is, here endl is required, and I don't think we are missing something. Yeah, we are missing this one. Okay, so what we are doing here is you have this object which is initially 10. This is a 10 value. This x is holding this 10 here. Now you created this class. Class has this function, so it's pretty cool. You're calling this function and passing this object here, which is coming here, not here, here, and just returning .x. Okay, and this whole drama is happening just because you cannot access this .x, which is private. So this whole thing is happening just because you want to access this private, so you want to become, so someone have made you as your friend. Otherwise there is no need of doing all these stuff. Okay, so let's compile this and see 10 and 20. It's pretty cool, huh? So instead of writing so many functions as your friend, you can put everything inside one class and make that particular class as your friend. So all the functions inside that will automatically become the function, friend function of your class. Okay, but wait a minute, that is not the ideal situation. Okay, so you should not make things like this. Until unless it is really required, you should not go for friend functions. You should include some function inside your class if you think that function should get your private data members. Okay, and if you want to see where you can use friend function and classes, then watch my another video. I will be giving the link in the description field. There I have talked about where you can actually use friend classes and friend functions. So you saw that you had friend function, before this example, and this is your friend class, and this is the only use of friend keyword. And this whole thing is happening just because classes have this kind of protected and private data, and you explicitly want to give the rights to non-member functions that they can access your private data. So let's read out this whole thing again. Function cannot become friend of another function. Yeah, that's what I told here, right? One function cannot become the friend of another function. There's no sense in that. Class cannot become friend of function. As I said here, if you have some class, that class cannot become friend of some function because this is a function. Okay? A friendship is not mutual. If a class A is friend of B, then B doesn't become friend of A automatically. Yes, that is very important point. This base is saying that getSet is my friend, so getSet is allowed to access .x, which is private inside base. But as base has said that getSet is my friend, it doesn't mean that getSet is saying base is my friend. So if getSet is having some private data inside that, this base cannot access that. Base can only access when this getSet will say that, yeah, base is my friend. So if you are declaring this base as friend here inside this, then only this base can access. Okay, so that is a good point here. Now friendship is not inherited. That is also a very important point. So if you are a beginner, you may find it a little difficult because maybe you don't know inheritance, but let's assume you know an inheritance. So if this is base and there is this get set function, sorry, class, and here you are using inheritance, make it public base, and let's make some function as friend, not class. So function, okay, so this is some function, simple function, and you say that this simple function is your friend. Okay, so this is what I'm talking. There is a class, this class is telling that some function, this one, is my friend, and that class is inherited inside another class. Then this class will not have this function as friend. Okay, remember this. This class will not have this function as friend. So friendship is not inherited. This is also very important point. Someone can ask you in the interview questions. Okay, so this function will not become friend inside this class. So I think we are done here. I hope you liked the video. If you liked it, don't forget to hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to my channel so that whenever I create some videos, you will get the notification at the same time. Bye bye.